Hello, all of you fearless listeners. Welcome to Let Fear Bounce. This is Kim Lengling, your host of the podcast that brings you inspiration and motivation each week. Join me as I chat with my awesome guests who share their triumphs, their failures, and how they have thrived despite it all. So get ready to be inspired and empowered and to let your own fears bounce. Now let's dive into this episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. This is Kim Lengling, your host, and I am so glad that you're deciding to spend a part of your day with myself today and my special guest, Candy Wolff. I have been excited to have her on, folks, and I think that you are going to find her story and her journey inspiring, and it might inspire you or, give you a little spark to do a little something on your own. But welcome again to Let Fear Bounce. We're up every Wednesday, folks. And I know that your time is precious. So I do appreciate that you're spending this time with me and my guest today. My guest, as I said, Candy Wolff, she is the CEO and president of Irreplaceably You, founded in 2023. She is laser focused on helping individuals and families navigate the financial challenges that arise during difficult times. Now, her personal experience as a widow, highlighted in her upcoming book, in her recently released book, Lost and Found in Mexico, A Widow's Road to Recovery, drives her passion for guiding others through similar hardships. Candy, welcome to Let Fear Bounce. I am so excited to have you as my guest today. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Now, okay, boy, oh boy, we were talking off mic before I hit that record button. And
Yes.
your last year and a half has just been a doozy.
Doozy's a great word to put in. I
That's,
don't know how else you can say it.
that's probably the nicest way to say it. Bit
Exactly.
of a doozy.
A
So,
doozy.
first off, I do want to again express my condolences because you did lose your husband a year and a half ago, and that's not that long ago. So again, once again, my sincere condolences to you on that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But that tragic and traumatic event spurred an awful lot that you a whole different path that you are now walking on in the last year and a half. You've written a book, you've started a business, a whole new business. And you're doing amazing things. I guess my first question is, inside, in the midst of your grief, because that's got to be tremendously heavy, even yet today, of course.
Mhm.
Where did you find that spark to say, I got to do something, or let alone, I'm going to write a book about it?
Yeah. Well, I got to give all the credit to God for sure.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
he's the one who put it in my heart. Yeah, like I said, I did lose my husband. We were down in Cabo. He had passed away January 27th, day before we were supposed to come back to the States. Woke up and he had passed in the middle of the night. So I had 4 days of literally, it was hell in Cabo, and just dealt with, a lot with speaking a they speak a language I can't speak, not having any family around, police basically, interrogate you for a death, being robbed from the police for everything that you have. And then coming home and realizing, bless my husband's heart, he, as we were talking about COVID, he had lost his job, and wouldn't, gosh, it would have been 5 years ago, and was in the medical sales, and being older, hard to get back in, and COVID hit. So he had been taking some money out of our retirement to help pay bills to subsidize, as a wife, like that's what he did. He took care of it, and I didn't really question. Knew it was, coming down, but didn't know how bad. But as soon as I got back from Mexico, after everything I dealt with there, coming home, opening up the mail and getting a check that said $60,000, account closed. That was my retirement. And that's what I had. My youngest son was a junior in high school, so he was still living with me. And I had no idea who the mortgage was paid to. I had no idea the utilities, all the cars were in his name. It's like I never dealt with any of the financial stuff. So it was wide, my eyes open wide, and I realized I can't be the only one that's ever went through this, and I want to help people. I mean, I lost my husband. I don't know why, for a reason, but now I've been given this platform to be able to help people.
What Okay, you were slammed with so much in such a very short period of time, and then to find out that your finances were almost non-existent,
Mhm.
there had to have been a bit of fear that creeped in there.
Yes,
What did that feel like?
that I wanted to just basically die. Like, how am I going to do this? Like, lots of tears at night, crying. My faith is very strong, so I kept giving it to God, but as we all do, we take it back,
Indeed.
and then again at night, give it back.
Yeah.
In the morning, take it back. So it took, and it's still to this day, it's a struggle for me to just keep letting him run everything, because I do, as humans, we want to try to be in control of everything. But he has blessed me. We've paid our bills. We're staying in the house. My son's headed off to college in a couple months. I'm going to be a true empty nester. I have, two older sons. It's somehow, some way, I mean, my faith helped me get through everything, and God spoke to me through different people, and through the Holy Spirit. Like, I could feel what I needed to do. So I just, like I said, I praise him for everything he's done for me.
And I'm praising him too on your behalf.
Thank you. I love
Uh,
it.
yeah, no, that's I mean, what an incredibly hard road. I can't imagine. So I'm not even going to try and put words to it. But you wrote this book. What spurred you to keep going? Or I guess, like, no, let me rephrase that. While you were writing this book, was there any point during that you're like, I can't do this. I've got to stop. I can't write this book.
There were a lot of times where I don't think I ever said I can't write this book, but there was a lot of emotional times, because you're reliving it as you're writing it. And I think it really hit me at the end, when it was all together. I had the manuscript and I gave it to my publisher. And then the line editor did it. And when I got it back and I actually had to sit and read it, like, true, from beginning to end, as someone would read it, that's when it really hit me. Like, I am putting my everything out on the line for the world to read. And there are some not nice people out there. And that's when it kind of hit me, was like, not everyone's going to like this. Not everyone's going to believe what I believe. But I really, at that point, just sat down and prayed that the people who need to read it, and the people who it will help, that's whose hands I want to get it in, and once I kind of got over that initial anxiety of what the heck am I doing, you know and then it was published. It was like a sigh of relief and an accomplishment too, I think. Like, wow, I actually said I was going to do something. I did it. I published it, and I'm actually selling books and doing some speaking. So, I guess, and then when you hear your kids tell you that they're really proud of you too for doing it, that's just like the cherry on top of it. So, um, a lot of it, like I said, it was just the me getting over my fear of what other people were going to think, and
And
just get it
that's
done.
such a booger.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
I mean, oh, I could call it many other things. I'm sure you know. But since this is a family show, um, that whole self-worth thing and self-doubt and our own inner critic. Gosh, we
Mhm.
are the worst ones at that.
Yeah, we
And
truly are.
there's something my therapist, and anybody who's listened to this knows that I talk to a therapist on occasion.
Well,
Um,
me too. So
hey, God bless us both, huh? And he does every day.
yes.
But my therapist had told me quite a while ago, and it's something that I've always remembered, and I've actually shared this so many times with guests on this show, is we have that we're always judging ourselves,
Mhm.
and we judge ourselves horribly. What we say to ourselves, we would never say to our own children.
No, never.
It's amazing the words that we use within ourselves. We would never share that with someone else that we care about. So why don't we care about our own selves? And my therapist, she said, Kim, I want you to look in the mirror. And I said, I do every day. And she goes, what do you do? I go, pretty much judge myself. She goes, well, next time I want you to look in the mirror and say, you have a 100% success rate for making it through. You can't get any better than 100%. You're still
Wow.
standing. You're still
Yeah.
standing. And it's another day. You're looking in the mirror, you're looking at your own self. It's a brand new day. You have a 100% success rate. You still have a 100% success rate. And when she said that, I had such a mind shift.
That just blew my mind that you just said that because that's amazing.
That's how I felt when I first heard it. And so I share it on here with guests. It just pops in my head where I'm supposed to share it. And
Mhm.
you're having the same reaction I did. My mind was blown. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true. It
It
seems so
is so
simple,
true.
but when
But it
it seems so simple, but when you're in your own head,
oh, and you can't get out of it.
yeah, that rational part, it's your front lobe just shuts down and
Yeah.
says, "Nope, no, not doing rational today."
No,
So yeah, so there's a little nugget for you, your little
I
nugget of
love
hope.
it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
I
100%
love it.
success rate for getting through the tough stuff. There you
Yeah.
are,
Yes. I love it.
'cause we're still
I'm gonna start
standing.
using it every
Dun,
day.
dun, dun. Yeah, yeah. I have it on a sticky note,
That's
above
I
my
was just thinking I'm gonna put it on a sticky note on my
yeah,
mirror.
I have it on a bright yellow sticky note. It's above my laptop screen on my wall. So
Mhm.
as soon as I sit down every morning in front of my computer, that's the
Yep.
first thing I see.
Brilliant. I
Yep.
love it.
It's my little nudge and a little reminder for my own self.
And we need it.
Yes, we do, don't we? And I'm sure folks out there listening, I am sure they need that little nudge as
Yes.
well. So, hey, get your own sticky notes out,
Yeah.
folks, and write that down.
Yeah,
By
you can even
golly.
get your favorite color sticky note and
That's right. Hey, draw on it, put pretty stickers on it, make it a big sign if you need, poster
no
size.
doubt.
Whatever you need to do to get you through the day,
Mhm.
do it
Yep, I
because
agree.
the world needs you.
Yes,
The
every
world
single
needs
one
you.
of us.
That's
Yep.
right. That is right. So how have your kids dealt with the last year and a half and watching you go through your journey and then starting this business and writing a book? How have your kids handled that?
Yeah, well, I have 3 boys, so they're quite an age difference. So my oldest is, 27, he's married, they live in Montana. So he's, kind of been removed, but very when it happened, the first few months constantly calling, checking in on me. Still get my he's an iron worker, so he travels and he drives home every Thursday. So Thursday nights my phone call from him. So it's just checking in, seeing how everything is going. My middle one is is doing well. He lives in St. Paul, so he wasn't living here. He was staying with my younger son when we were gone. Um, he is one that, yeah, is like me, the caregiver kind of out of everyone, wants to make sure mom's okay. I'll get phone calls. Do you need anything? Is there something I can help you with? So we talk, quite a few times a week at least. And then my youngest, him and I have gotten, I think, really close because it's just been the two of us living here, and he was very, very close, with his dad, and, coached all of his sports and just was just always there. So him and I have had, when you talk about emotions and, PTSD and anxiety and depression, the poor kid has seen me go through everything, but I try to let him know that that's normal and it's okay for him to do that as well. And I just want him to make sure he's talking to people. I see a counselor. Um, he chose not to. But it's nice that he has his friends. And I do, I've checked in with friends and they all say that he does talk to them when he needs to. So I think we're all
Who
coping
knows
at
down
different
the road
levels.
when he's older, when he's a little older,
Yeah.
he might on his own just say, wow, there is some stuff I probably should address as an
Yeah.
adult. You know,
Yeah.
he might seek that down the
Yeah.
road. It's all in his good time for him, his own self.
Yeah. And like we were talking, grief is so different with everyone. It hits you like I was going good for about 4 months, and then all of a sudden he had National Collegiate Signing Day for volleyball, and I lost it. Like, oh my goodness, his dad's not here, like sitting here watching him. And his dad wasn't there for graduation. We had his graduation party, and I'm going to be driving him to Virginia in 2 months. And so you never know when it's going to creep up on you. You
Right,
could be going along just fine, and then all of a sudden one day it will smack you in the face. So
right.
yeah, it's different for everyone.
It certainly is. Yes, it is. That's why and I hope those that are I know, interestingly enough, a lot of my listeners are quite a bit younger.
Okay.
It's surprising.
Hmm.
So they're a good, decade or more younger
Okay.
than what you and I probably are. I'm
Yep.
assuming we're
I
probably
think we're
close to the
very
same age.
close. Yeah.
Um, so I try to address like because what we're talking about is pretty darn heavy, but
Yeah.
there are those folks out there who are dealing with grief.
Yeah.
And grief comes in many forms. It's not losing a spouse. You could have lost your aunt or your grandma
Yep.
or your dog,
Yep.
you know,
Anything.
a job. You know,
Yes.
grief comes in many, many forms, and it's so important for you to realize that your grief journey, and I know everybody uses the word journey. I'm sorry I keep using it.
I know.
Your grief journey is yours and yours alone. Don't let someone else tell you how you're supposed to grieve.
Yes.
And I know
Amen.
that some folks might be swayed by that, and other folks are giving this advice, out of the goodness of their hearts. They think they're helping.
Mhm.
But please remember, whoever's ears this
Yeah.
is landing on that needs to hear it right now,
Mhm.
remember that it's your journey, sweet pea. You
Yes.
have to you have to walk it how you need to walk it, but do it in a healthy way.
Yeah. And make sure, they need to make sure to let people know that they are dealing with something, and that they need time, because a lot of people want to push people through it, and you cannot get pushed through it. And like we are talking, you may have a good couple months, but then when something comes up, it's like I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's just like the listeners, who am I now that this has happened to me? Like, you are going to redefine yourself,
Yes,
and
who
and
am
it's
I?
okay. It's okay. Yes.
It's okay to not be okay.
It is absolutely. I have to tell myself that, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, like we talk about, when it's one of those days you want to just pull the covers over your head and not get out of bed. And it is okay to be okay, but yet you need, like, get up and do something for yourself. You know,
Yes,
that is the most important thing that I think I've learned, and even my kids have had to tell me is, "Mom, you need to take care of yourself, because I want to take care of everybody else." And whoever is listening, just make sure you are taking care of yourself in whatever form it works for you, but do
right.
something for yourself.
Even if it's just 10 minutes a day,
Yes.
step
Yeah.
outside and breathe.
Yep. And look
Really.
out and yeah, and look, I mean, if you're my thing is like I will step out and look at the flowers, and like with the birds, and it's like, this is amazing. Like, God created all of this for
I
us to look at.
know.
Like, and my problem is minute compared to everything else in the world, really. And but it's
But it's
amazing when
yours. It's
yes,
yours, and that means that's your part of the world that it's
exactly. Yep.
affected, so it's huge.
Yes, it is. But then looking, you want to make sure you see what else is beautiful out there.
Yes. Oh, absolutely, and, I've found, especially on those days that you wake up and you're like, oh.
Yep.
Sometimes you just don't have words, you're just like, oh. I found and I am outside as much as I can be.
Mhm.
And that's how I start my day. I get a cup of coffee, and me and my dog, we're out and we walk at least a mile in the morning.
Good.
And we walk this big field that's around my house. I live in the country, and
Mhm.
so very blessed for being where I'm at because I
Yes,
can
you are.
breathe. Um, but that's how I start my day. And even if I wake up in that, that cruddy mindset,
Mhm.
there is always something outside that makes me go, wow, thank you.
Yep. It's
It's
crazy.
it's like you said, you look at the flowers, or I see a dewdrop just barely hanging on the edge of a leaf, and the sun
Mhm.
is just rising, and it's this most beautiful thing. And I'm like, that is so tiny.
Mhm.
And he directed my eyes to it for a reason.
Yes,
Thank you.
exactly. Yep.
So
And
I
that's what we
say
have to
thank you
do.
so much in the
Yes.
mornings.
Oh, I know. And that's what, I think we all need to be aware of that because God is showing us stuff,
Yes.
but we have to be aware.
Let your eyes see it. Don't
Yeah.
let yourself be so sunken down in that
Mhm.
darkness, because oh
Yes.
my goodness, that is so easy to do.
Yes, it
I
is.
could let myself just, I'm sure like you could, just sink into it and stay there for days,
Yep.
you know?
And it does us no good. I
Does
mean,
us
the
no
thing,
good.
yeah. And
So pull your, pull, I'm always saying I pulled up my big girl panties,
yep, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
and I, get outside at the very,
Yeah.
that's when I'm having it really like a really tough day, or
Yeah.
even a few minutes tough. I'll be like, all right, come on, Dex, let's go outside for a walk. That's
Yep.
my immediate go-to now. I go outside. Now I know everybody can't do that. And
Yes.
maybe you live in a city and you don't have a close place that you can go, but make a safe space for yourself then.
Yes.
That
Yes.
quiet space where maybe go make yourself, or go to the nearest coffee shop,
Yeah.
get yourself a fancy schmancy coffee, and sit there in 10 minutes and just enjoy it. Enjoy the taste of it and the
Yeah.
smell of it.
The smell,
Sink
yes.
into it.
Get all of your senses going,
Yes.
and you know what? As well as like when you're at that coffee shop and you're smelling that coffee and you're tasting it, and open your eyes to see like what's going on around you and like how many blessings you actually do have, and that's something that I think about too is thank God I have a house to live in. I have a car to drive. I don't have my husband back and he's never coming back, but he has blessed me with a lot of other things. I have my health. I have a job. It's as if our mind keeps in that horrible spot, it's hard to get out of. But if we can remind ourselves
Of what you have.
what good is out there and what we truly do have, I mean, it will pull you out of that horrible spot, and it's going to take time because it doesn't happen over time, but you'll spend less and less time in that awful area.
Yes, that's so true. And remember, everybody else is going through something too.
Yes. Yep.
We all put a mask on.
Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth?
Yes, we go, and we have different masks for different days,
Yeah. Yep.
you know? Um, and it's, you walk out that back door, maybe, I work from home now, but when I had to walk out the door every day and leave, I can sit here and say pretty much, I would say 99% of the time I was putting on a mask before I left.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not letting the world see my weakness,
No.
my
Why would
my
we?
perceived weakness,
Yep, exactly. Yes.
you
That is
know?
true. Yep.
And when you do admit to, hey, I'm struggling. I'm having such a hard time. I don't know about you, but for me personally, I had people say, "But what do you mean, Kim? You're the strongest lady I know."
Gosh, oh my goodness.
And I'm like, because that's all I've ever let anyone see.
Yep.
No one,
Ow.
no one, and it was amazing. Even my family members, when I fell apart, and I did, uh,
Mhm.
in a very nice way, um, they they didn't know what to do.
Yep.
They
That
it was like
is
they were blindsided. They're like, we don't know how to care for you. What you're the strong one.
mhm.
And it
I
it threw them for a loop.
It throws a lot of people, I think, and I last night that hit me. I was talking with a friend because, I posted another, meet the author thing out there, and a lot of people have read my books now, and I get messages that, "Oh my gosh, you are so strong. I can't believe what you've been through. You are just, an amazing." And I've had grad party after grad party with my son, and you run into people and it's like, "Oh my goodness, you're so strong." And I told my friend last night, I actually started crying. I'm like, I wish people would quit telling me that because I'm not. I am not. But the perception is
Yes.
I have it
Yes.
together and I don't.
None of us do.
No,
And if people walk around saying that they do, they're fibbing.
they're wrong.
They are not being truthful.
No, they are not. And you know
It
what I love is when we can tell somebody, you know what, I'm not strong, and they'll be there for you.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
okay to admit that
Or
we're
it's,
not.
and it is, it's very hard to admit it. I don't
Yep.
know how it is for you, but for me, that was.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's a sign of weakness. I can't show that. Are you kidding
Mhm.
me?
Yeah.
I'm a
But you know what?
veteran. I can't show that. Are
Yeah.
you
Well,
kidding
and I
me?"
have kids. Like I can't. My kids
That's
can't
what I
see
mean.
them.
Yeah, I'm a mom. I can't show that. Are you kidding me? That was my endless reel. Are you kidding me? I
Mhm.
can't show that.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, what we
I
do to
know.
ourselves.
I know. But as soon as you give yourself permission, it lightens the load.
It's so freeing.
It is. It
And
is so
now I for me, I just, I'll freely say, oh, boy, I've had a poop day.
Yep.
A total poop day. And what brought me back was, my dog, or God put the exact person in front of me that needed to be put in front of me.
Yep. Or a text message from
Or a
somebody
text
or
message.
yep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And that
crazy.
happens all the time.
It does. And that's what I keep telling people is just open your eyes because God is helping you. I
And
mean,
your
he helps
heart.
us. Your
Yes.
heart. Oh my gosh. Yes. That is huge.
Whatever your belief is.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, whatever it is
Find
that is in
yes,
your
find that one thing
yes.
that's
And
a
hold on to
positive
it.
influence on you.
Yes. Whatever it may be. Yeah.
And
But
hold on
you
to
need
it on those bad days, hold on to it as tight as you have to.
exactly. Because we all need it. And like you said,
Yeah,
everybody out there needs it, whether they want
indeed.
to admit it or not, they do.
That is right, that is right. Okay, time has flown.
Oh my
Um,
gosh,
I know, holy
been
cow,
too
and
much fun.
I didn't even get we just were sitting here chit-chatting, having coffee like we've known each other forever.
Well, I feel like we have.
I love it, I love it. But share with folks where they can find this new amazing book that's just literally recently been released. So share with
Yeah.
folks where they can find it.
Oh my God, I'd love to. So on my website, so it's candywolff, .com, just CandywOLFF.com. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Noble, and my publisher is Kirkhouse Publishing, and they have it as well. So there are different 4 different ways that you can order it. And I do believe on Amazon you can get it an electronic version of it.
Oh,
So
like a Kindle version?
yep,
Awesome.
you can listen to it in the car, I think.
You have an audio version
Well,
too?
I think so.
You're like,
I
"I
don't
don't
know.
know, I think I
I'm
do."
I'm learning about all this stuff.
I know. No, that's awesome. Yeah. So the links to all of that, folks, will be in the show notes. And then if you're watching or listening to this on YouTube, it'll be in the description as well. So you'll be able to click on that, then go check yourself, go get yourself a copy
Yeah,
and
and also I'd love to
support her
tell
in her
people
mission.
yeah, and on for any of the people that, are like me that heard, like, financial stuff, like, you have no idea what's going on, if you go to my website too, I have a financial resilience playbook. It's just like a quick 10 point of what you should know. Like, if you are in a marriage or you're getting ready to get in a marriage, or maybe you're older, like my parents. My mom had no idea where financial stuff is. So, and that's a free download, and that's at, candywolff.com too, so
Yeah, and that
to
was
help
one
people.
of the main things I wanted to talk about today. So and we never even touched
I
on it.
know. Well, they
So
can go to the website.
you know what that means? We'll have to have you back.
Well, let's do it again.
Yes, and we will focus on that because that's very, very important.
Yeah, it is.
And
It's very
it doesn't matter who you are. That's very important. Very
yeah, I
important
mean, you
stuff.
need to know the
So
financial.
we will definitely have you back on then.
Perfect. I would love to be back on.
Awesome. And then you can tell us all about how your book is doing. And oh, I have one last question for you before we
Yes.
wrap up. Actually, 2 questions. My first
Okay.
one is, do you have an idea for another book? Do you see another book coming?
I do. I want to get this one up and going, but I've had so many people just start asking me questions of like, where do you see your life going? And like, um, what was my mother-in-law's one of her good friends said, you need to let people know like how you're doing after all of this, because the whole book talks about the issues, so now it's like, how did you overcome it, and how can other people overcome? So
Yes.
yeah. And then as well, I want to do like little mini financial just tidbit things, that people can go to the website, download on, just to help people. That's all I want to do
Yep.
is help. I
Oh,
mean,
I get it. No, and
be a
that's for
resource.
anybody. Anybody
Yeah,
would benefit from those little
exactly.
shorts or whatever you're gonna create video-wise,
Exactly.
whatever.
Yep.
Everybody can benefit from that. Oh, awesome stuff. You've got a lot
Yeah.
of cool
So I
stuff on
got
your
things
plate.
going on. I just
Yeah,
one day at a time.
that's right. One day at a time, one day at a time. Now, my second and final question, and I ask all of my guests. So,
Yes.
what would your nugget of hope be to toss out to the listeners today? Something that they can tuck away and carry with them. A nugget of hope. What would yours be
Nugget.
today?
Mine would be, make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them every second, every time you get, because you never know when that last time you're going to talk to them will be. And you don't want to live with that the rest of your life, that you didn't take that opportunity to tell them you love them, or sit down and tell them how much they mean to you, because people don't know unless we tell them.
So true. Don't ever assume that people know.
Never. Nope.
Yeah,
Don't ever assume.
yeah. Wow. Now that's bringing tears to my eyes.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring
On
tears to your
that
eyes.
note, no, that's a beautiful nugget of hope, and that's one that we can all certainly grab onto. That is for
Yeah.
sure. That is for sure.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Candy, for being my guest today. This has been an absolute blessing.
Thank you. I have had a blast, and I'm so glad I got to meet you. So I look forward to seeing you again.
I was just going to say the same. I can't wait to have you back on again in a few months and chit chat about some more awesome stuff to share with folks. So thank you once again. And everybody out there listening, thank you again for spending your precious time with myself and Candy today. This is Kim Lengling, your host of Let Fear Bounce. Everybody be well, stay well, and above all, be blessed. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. I do realize that your time is precious, and I appreciate that you've decided to spend just a small part of your day with myself and my guest. I hope that you found inspiration and motivation tucked into this conversation today. And remember, every triumph and failure is a step towards thriving. So stay fearless, stay inspired, and join me each week with more inspiration from amazing guests from all over the world. Until then, stay fearless, my friends, and let fear bounce.